You're watching TVC Breakfast. Now, there is a connection between 5G mobile technology and the coronavirus. Some people said so. But the point there is scientists have not proven this. This is one question that many have in recent days tried to answer because there are concerns across the world that a link does exist between the two. Now, scientists and technology-savvy individuals who have weighed in on the matter have also expressed different views on this. Now, some say there is absolutely no connection and no scientific proof that the 5G is responsible for the pandemic, while some others say that the very high radiation from the 5G could have caused this global worry. All right, joining me now via Skype is environmental biologist Tony Nwakalo. Tony, let us understand. The world is developing, innovation is rolling out, and creativity is rolling out new things every day. But talk to us where we're going with 5G across the world. What benefit does the world stand to get from 5G? How better off are going to be human beings in what they do and how they do?
Thank you once again for having me. Good morning once again, Nigerians. When you talk about the benefits of 5G, they are tremendous. I mean, you're going to be having things like this Internet of Things, which will support smart cities. So you have people who can use facial recognition to order an Uber as against using the phone. You can have surgeries done remotely by professionals using, like Autobots, like little nano machines that will go into the body of a patient in a different country, and they use AI to give the instructions, on what those machines should be doing, like remote surgeries. There's also things like quantum computing, where the speeds of processing of the computer are, in fact, in terms of, trying to describe what those speeds are in quantum computing. You're going to be able to have monitors, spacecrafts that go farther than we've ever experienced from the Earth. Radar technology is going to be different. So we have that as a benefit also. Then finally, we also have artificial intelligence, which basically we're going to have the higher machines thinking for us, improving on our shortcomings, our weaknesses, and basically making the world a much better place in terms of service delivery.
All right. Now, there are lots of people have talked about the issue of radiation, the waves that go, that go along signals, sending signals from one part of the world to another. That it also radiates. There's also radiation involved. Now, with a higher technology, certainly one can logically or just normally thinking that there could be a higher level of radiation. What do you say to this?
It's just basic physics at subatomic particle level. The electromagnetic spectrum is simply what is called photons at different frequencies. The highest frequency photons are called cosmic rays, and the lowest frequency photons are called long radio waves. So in between that, we have visible light also, which is what human beings can perceive. So just because you can't perceive something doesn't mean it's not there. Our range of perception as human beings is very narrow on the electromagnetic spectrum. So microwaves is basically what is being used in point-to-point telecommunications, which is where we are with 4G and 5G. And we cannot have point-to-point communications with waves that travel very short distances, like millimeter waves, because you're going to have situations where extremely high energy photons are used to carry packets of data. And then when the data is delivered to the antenna, what happens to all of the energy created by the magnetic field? That's the issue with radiation. And what really would happen is that you cannot, like in basic science, matter or energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So we have created the energy, the energy has to go somewhere. Unfortunately, with radiation, especially if it's really high frequencies, it's our flora and fauna, which is our trees, our plants, and us. We are part of this system. It's an ecosystem.
All right. So apart from human beings, are there any impact of all of this on the environment?
Radiation affects everything, but because a lot of people are more familiar with ionizing radiation and its effects. That's what you know when you have situations, global situations like Fukushima and Chernobyl. People have seen the disastrous effects of ionizing radiation, but a lot of people might not see the effects of non-ionizing radiation because the physics is a little different and a little more technical. So I guess that's why a lot of people don't really understand that non-ionizing radiation is it doesn't have the immediate disastrous effect like a nuclear bomb, but it can kill in doses over periods of 8 months to 12 months, depending on what frequency.
All right. There has been the talk on the issue of 5G being present in Nigeria. The Minister of Communication has said no license has been given out or issued for that yet, but the study trial is just generally going on in few states. Now, is there anything Nigerians should worry about, or they should go to sleep because there's nothing to worry about?
Well, I'm a scientist, and I work with facts. So when you ask me a question like, oh, is COVID-19 related to 5G? I said the symptoms of radiation poisoning are very similar to COVID-19. However, I also say there's no scientific facts. Someone has to invest in trying to get scientifically proven, materials and methods to come to this conclusion. Now, you say, what should we be worried about? I'm not an authority. I also heard what the NCC has said, what the minister has said. But I need everyone to understand that, you should not assume that every band of 5G is going to be a problem. For example, the low band, which is sub 6 gigahertz or less than 6 gigahertz, in something called 5G new radio. That's what they call it, is 5G new radio. So on new radio, there are two frequencies. Is FR1 is between 24 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz, and FR2 is sub 6 gigahertz. So FR2 frequencies will be what they'll be deploying right now, because they need to have infrastructure fully built to get to 60 gigahertz millimeter waves, which is, I'm sure, where every one of them is trying to go if they're not there yet. And that might be the place for concern.
All right. Thank you very much, Tony Nwakalo, for your insight and dissecting these issues for us. Thank you very much.
5G. So for all of those who are looking for someone or something to blame, I guess the reason why 5G is an easy culprit is because millimeter waves, which is just one of the three bands or spectrums within the 5G network, radiation poisoning from 60 gigahertz millimeter wave would have symptoms very, very similar to what have been described as the symptoms of COVID-19.
So what you're saying is that 5G will certainly have impact or will have health implications on the people. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if you are not really familiar with these things, you hear 5G, you jump at it, and oh, 5G is dangerous. But there's a low band 5G, which is very close to the frequencies that the 4G LTE is already using. It's sub 6 gigahertz. There's mid band 5G, which is slightly higher than 6 gigahertz. But those ones are not of concern, really. There's radiation from those, but it doesn't have a very direct impact like 60 gigahertz would.
Now, why do you think a lot of people are concerned about this? I wonder where this came from in the first place, but why do you think people are so concerned to the level where even in the developed countries, where, like in London, where we hear that some people were trying to bring down 5G masts and so on? Why does this come up from your analysis?
Because there's a very strange coincidence between the areas where the 5G has been rolled out and very high incidences of corona deaths. Now, how that coincidence came to be leaves a lot to be. I don't know how it is, but I also believe that because there's so much secrecy about the 5G rollout. It gives a lot of room for people to begin to be suspicious, and I think that's what's playing out.
Now, you talked about the issue of layers of the 5G. There is this first, second, or maybe even third layers, and certainly they have various or different radiation levels. What determines what that is deployed at what country or at what environment?
Sorry.
All right, Tony, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you have to say that again.
All right, let me ask you, I'm saying that you were saying that there are levels or layers of the 5G technology. I'm asking, what determines what layer of 5G is deployed at what environment or which country?
Well, there's a lot of major organizations that determine these things, like the International Telecommunications Union. There's also a situation where a lot of the countries don't tell you what band of 5G is being rolled out. So it's difficult to tell where this is coming from. But I know what I know for a fact that every country that has rolled out 5G hasn't told us what band of 5G has been rolled out. So we really can't say for sure.
All right, Tony Wakalo, thank you very much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast. Let's remind